Went to do the live streaming at church today.
Yeah.
First thing we do now is set up the live stream. We use a software called Switcher, and we've got the package where we can go to 2 endpoints at the same time. So it's pretty much the same routine. Go into Switcher, create live stream, hit YouTube and Facebook, pick the right page, give it a title, and go. And then when
Right.
you're ready to broadcast, you just hit the big red button in the upper right corner. Well, I got there and I said, let's go to Switcher. Waiting, waiting, waiting.
Beach ball.
Finally, the pop-up modal dialog box says, okay, you don't have any right now. Would you like to create one? I hit create one.
Right.
Waiting. Error. Oh no, we can't connect to the streaming service.
Uh-oh.
So I backed out of that, tried it again. I wasted like 15 minutes, and it's a good thing I get there early. I said, well, looks like we can't stream today. So I'm arranging the titles. I'm doing all the songs and all the readings and all the lower thirds that we use for the the service.
Right.
It is a show.
Well, it's kind of a show.
And as I switch two around, because I was like, oh, the harp soloist comes before this other song. All of a sudden the app crashes. And when I go back in, it says, please log in. Like, oh man, what's the login and password? We don't use it that often. Fortunately, I had it in 1Password because this came up about 6 months ago. I log in and go, maybe that was the issue why we couldn't stream. Maybe the account had timed out and I just didn't know it. Go back in, waiting. We couldn't connect. I said, all right, well, at least we'll record locally and we can upload later. I go to hit record and it says, you can't record. You don't have a live stream set up. It's like, yeah, that's kind of the point. So there's different choices when you set up your live stream. It says, do you want to go to Facebook? Do you want to YouTube? Do you want to go to, there's various choices.
Right.
And the one we pick is Switcher so that we can say we want multiple targets. What we need to do to record locally is click none. It was just frustration after frustration this morning. Well, at least I get here early. And I didn't expect Brandon, our 17-year-old guy who actually does a really good job. He's been doing it the last probably 4 or 5 weeks without me. He came in, he goes, need any help? I said, yes, please set up the cameras. I'm still working on titles. So that was very nice of him to jump in. He said, I can't help with much more. I said, I don't need much more help than that. And it was so habitual because like this show, we've got the ability to bring in comments. Well, I went to the comment icon and went, no, there's not going to be anybody there because we're not live streaming.
Right.
So, of course, like any good emergency that I used to do at work when the server was down or something, you have one person working on it, one person communicating. So Brandon says, we should probably tell the rest of the team. I said, yeah, I just texted out to the rest of the team. We should probably tell the community. I looked and he says, oh, Courtney, our office girl said, Courtney already posted it to Facebook saying we're having some technical issues. We'll post the show later. So it was like, it brought back memories of when like our NT4 server would crash and somebody was hands on keyboard and the other was running, political interference, giving status updates going, hey, Chuck, what's happening? Bang, 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 go away. Can't talk, working. No, Chuck, I need a quick status update.
Stand back.
And then later I was the one going, hey, Scott, I need a quick status update. You keep working. Right. I'll run interference.
Funny.
Because that was really frustrating. Remember, what's that?
I wasn't expecting you to invoke the NT server.
Well, that was the really frustrating part is when you're trying to work and trying to communicate at the same time. Like so much better when you have somebody else that you can just fire them off a couple commands like, file missing, need to reload.
Yeah, absolutely.
20 minutes. And then they can go give the proper communications to the right people.
Oh, it makes a big difference.
All right. We have comments. We have comments from Sleepless in Germany. Insert surname here. Insert name here. The dude from Germany. Yeah. Good stuff. We haven't even started yet. Let's take the pre-show banner down and get started. You ready?
Let's do it. I'm going to share.
My mic is a little on the Warm side. Back that down just a little bit. Perfect. How about you give me an audio check?
Check, 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 check.
I'm gonna bring you up just a smidge.
Sorry,
There we go.
I'm a little not under the weather. I think it's allergies. It's killing me. So I'll try and keep myself muted when necessary.
Okay. We'll let you slide this time. There we go. In 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 781 for September 17th, 2025. Roomba, you've done it again. Hello and welcome to Technorama, the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. Well, most things geek. A few things. All right, we don't talk about anything geek. It's
What?
just Craig and I are just hanging out here. And we are two geeks. Yes, if you're joining us for the first time, this is the insanity and the thought process you're going to get. It's random, it's chaotic, it's whatever we decide is on our mind. I'm Chuck Tomasi. Oh, and if you're returning, you know the drill. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah,
My
yeah.
name is Chuck Tomasi from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and right over there is Craig Stepp. How are
Hey,
you? Craig?
I'm returning.
If you're returning, that means at one point you were turning.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Okay,
turn.
good.
Yeah,
To
I'm
everything.
returning. Yeah. Anyway,
To everything, turn, turn, turn.
Anyway.
There is a season, turn, turn, turn.
so hello everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
How you been?
I'm doing okay.
How's the working life going?
Why did you forget what it's like?
No, I just had a week of training. I delivered 4 days of training. We had Thursday off, and I had to cram everything for my week into that day. I was like, I
Yeah.
got a doctor appointment. I got to run some errands. I got to do this or that. Like it all fit in there.
Well, the end of last week was a little strange because we were in the US, we were off for the
9/11.
9/11, and then we were on Friday. So it was like it was a weird having a day off in the middle of the week like that.
Yes.
But at work they do no meeting Fridays from time to time. So
Okay.
that was Friday. So I had no meetings. So I was able to get some stuff done, and it was kind of quiet. It was really quiet, like it was a day off anyway, which was really cool. So anyway, I had my friend Fred come up, and he spent the weekend up here, and we had a good time. We went to go. I'll talk about it later. But we went to go see Spinal Tap 2. The end continues.
Oh, did you see Grandpa Choco's post on Instagram?
No, I did not.
He put together this short little video. It said, I flew from Burbank to San Jose, rented a car, drove 30 minutes, see Spinal Tap 2
Yeah.
with my old high school English teacher. Why? Because they did like their own version of Spinal Tap, and he shows this old picture of him with the long hair. And
Oh,
it's like,
I got to go find that.
that
then.
was fun. That was fun. I was like, whoa, there's a great memory to relive.
I don't look at Instagram as much as I used to.
I get
I do.
alerts for a few people.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I'll have to go check that one out because that ought to be pretty cool.
Yep.
And that sounds like a very Grant thing.
Grant's a good guy.
Yes, he
We
is.
like Grant. We got to talk to him again. We haven't spoken in a while. I've texted him a few times and gone, hey, this video made me think of you or something.
Well,
Oh,
last year I saw him. He was doing a tour with Toily. Say that 3 times fast.
Toily tour.
Toily tour, and he was here in Asheville. It was not long after the hurricane, but a lot of play at that point. It was maybe a couple months after, so things were cleared up enough, and we were up there. It was close to, it was near Asheville, and saw his show, spoke to him and stuff for briefly afterwards. It was pretty cool. And then well, no, never mind. Yeah, but that's when we saw him last.
If we had editing in this show, we would just clear that part out.
No, we don't need to
So
edit.
there you are. Let's get on with the feedback.
Letters, oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy!
Mail today.
Is that what it looks like when you're coding?
I love how they pull the paper out and then keep typing. I never
Yeah,
thought of
yeah.
that.
They're hitting the
That's what
platen.
little boy is for. It's like, I don't have any paper.
They're ruining the platen.
Never thought of that till I just read
Yeah.
it.
All these years, just
Method
occurred to you.
acting.
Yeah.
All right, we asked you last time, what piece of forgotten 90s technology deserves a modern comeback and how would you upgrade it? And we got several responses here. I'm going to make that a little bigger on my screen so these old eyes can read it. Mark Kilfoyle says, as much as I appreciate that we've miniaturized things, there's something very satisfying about the solid case of a 3.5-inch floppy disk.
I agree.
Today, I would turn it into a backup medium, storing terabytes in each disk, stable, protective, labelable form. CDs, DVDs are too fragile. Memory cards are too small. USB drives are close, but I'd rather slot something in place and latch it in and attach a flimsy cable. He's got a point. I was going to say, well, SD cards are pretty solid, but they're too small. You don't stick labels on them.
And they're easy to lose.
They're very easy to lose. I just checked before the show. I went, is it? Is it SD card in the recorder?
Well, the mini SDs, micro SDs rather, those are worse. And a lot of cameras and stuff started to use those. I'm like, why? I know they need to miniaturize, and it's the actual connector. You put the thing in to go from SD to micro SD,
Yeah.
much smaller. But I hated micro SDs.
The Rodecaster Duo has one, and
Yes.
there's no reason that could have been a standard SD card, in my opinion.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's some things. What else do I have that uses them? The camera in my car. I got a front and back camera.
Right.
That I can understand because that's a smaller device. You want to keep things as tiny as possible, and that's not something you're going to be pulling out all the time, too.
Right.
So there's
Yeah, I'm
points
fine
where
with
it
that.
makes sense.
Mhm.
But I wonder if somebody has made a 3.5-inch floppy drive that is really an SD card reader. That would be fun. That would be an interesting electronics project. Same form factor. You put the SD card into a floppy
Yeah.
bracket case, almost like the micro SDs go into an SD slot. You kind of put them in that oversized thing, and then you
Sure.
do the same thing, only step it up to a 3.5-inch drive, and put the drive in, and then it makes all the electrical contacts. The little shutter door could slide off to the side like it normally does,
Right.
and then make contact when it latches in. Then you've mounted the drive. Ooh.
Uh,
Ooh.
I-
Let's Kickstarter this thing.
You know when I hear is your 3D printer firing up.
Well, the downside of this is you'd have to make it USB because you can't attach you can't install a 3.5-inch drive to a laptop anymore.
Why not?
Where are you going to put it on a MacBook Pro?
USB?
That's what I said. You have to make a USB.
Yeah, sure.
On a tower, a mini tower machine, you could have an internal 3.5-inch. I don't know what it would connect to.
Actually,
is
I
USB
got
as
a
well.
Windows machine over there, and it doesn't have a floppy at all, or a CD-ROM. It's like,
Right. But you could install one in the same form factor is what I'm saying.
actually, I don't think I can. The
Really?
faceplate is all solid. Now there's bays. Now there's bays for like hard drives, of course, in there.
The old
But
e-machines.
I can't look at the front of it, but there's no openings. It's like all solid. So
Alright.
I'd have to take that off.
Yeah,
and
there
then-
wouldn't be much of a market unless it had to be USB. But
Yeah.
and then it gets kind of weird because when you push the floppy in, the whole external case moves around.
Yeah. Well,
Unless you had some really good rubber feet on it.
yeah.
And it takes up more desk space if it's extra. Okay, let's move on. Steve
All right.
London says, how about the Swatch Beat Time?
I've made a
Universal.
joke about that before.
No time zones,
Yeah.
no fuzz, just pure chaos. And the Flowbee. Yes, we must have the Flowbee back. AI enhanced, connected to industrial grade shop vac system. Not a single haircut will be safe ever again.
Well, you don't really need that right now.
And if you don't know what a Flowbee is, he put a YouTube link in our show notes
Yeah.
or on the Facebook page.
Well, you obviously can't make use of that right now.
Not for a while.
Yeah. Lisa Soros says payphones, but make them video phones and debit card accessible. You know what? That sounds like something out of a 80s sci-fi film where they run over to a payphone and make a video call.
Be like a Zoom call.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We don't have any comments on any other shares, unfortunately. So
Great.
that's all we got. But you're still welcome to put comments on either our Technorama podcast page on Facebook or anybody who shared it. I think Craig, me, and Steve London have all shared it. So if you see that, have some fun. We'll do our best to respond.
Yeah.
That's the question of the week for this week. We did not get any voicemail or email. So we will close out that and go right into the history.
Another letter from our listener, Dave.
Infinite number of monkeys. On this day in history for September 17, 2025, this is the 260th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 105 days remaining in 2025. Yikes!
Ah,
It was on this date in 1543 that the first Finnish language book, the Abkaria by Mikael Agricola, I hope, was
Yeah.
published in Stockholm, and Steve from Sweden can laugh at us now.
I'm sure. I hope he laughs at us anytime. Antoine von Leeuwenhoek.
Hoek! It's
Wrote-
Ren Hoek!
Hoek. That's what Ren Hoek wrote a letter to the Royal Society describing animal clues.
Animal
Cules, I'm
cules.
sorry, animal cules. Later was known as a protozoa on this date in 1683.
Don't you remember when Ren was trying to pronounce his last? Someone was trying to pronounce Ren and Snippy's last name.
Yeah.
Hoek!
Hoek.
It's spelled the same way.
Where did they get that from? I don't
Also
know.
on September 17, 1908, the Wright flyer, flown by Orville Wright with Lieutenant Thomas Selfridge as a passenger, crashed, killing Selfridge, who became the first airplane fatality. That's terrible.
Is that the stat you want to be known for? I think not. It was also 69 years ago today that the world's first retractable roof stadium, the Civic Arena, opened in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Slight correction, it was 64 years ago, not 69.
Who
Craig has a
cares?
thing about numbers.
Really, who cares?
The Space Shuttle Enterprise was unveiled by NASA on this date in 1976, 49 years ago.
I know.
Yikes.
I know where I
remember
was
that
at.
thing wheeling out.
I remember where I was at. I was watching that thing land when it
And
came
they
out.
had some of the Star Trek people there. That was a lot of fun. Happy birthday goes out of this day to Italian astronomer Celio Calcagnini. Born
And
on this
German,
day in 1479.
German geologist and
Calio.
paleontologist Hermann Aldovich Transcold
We got a ton of them today, people. Bear with us.
was born 208 years ago today.
Bernhard Riemann, the German-Italian mathematician and academic, was born 199 years ago today.
And Scottish-American businessman founded the Buick Motor Company. Guess what his name was? Chevy?
Company?
Yeah, it was GM. No, David Dunbar Buick. He was born on this day in 1854.
I think I just discovered a bug. We had two suffixes that were repeated, and this is supposed to have a non-repeat thing in it. Anyway, Konstantin, am I on Konstantin? Yes. Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, the Russian scientist and German engineer, was born on that same date in 1857.
Wow, this is a name and a half. Eyvind Astrup, Norwegian explorer, was born.
No,
on
you
this day.
skipped the Russian chemist. Come on, you don't get off that easy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that's when you were reading. No, I'm sorry. Russian chemist Vera Yevastova, I don't know, Popova was born on this date in 1864. Who hung that name on them?
I get Eyvind Astrup, the Norwegian explorer, was born on this date in 1871. Yikes.
Yeah. And last but not least, Gerald Guralnik was
Grolnik.
Guralnik or whatever. Anyway, the American physicist and academic was born 89 years ago today.
That almost sounds like an insult. Don't be a Grolnik.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Listener birthdays this week include September 18th, Jeff Schultz, aka Gore Bash. The 20th, we have two birthdays, Joel Harper. aka Rincewind from Milwaukee, and Joel Rickenbach. 2 Joels on the 20th. Very cool. May he rest in peace.
Yes.
Dean Jensen is on the 21st, and on 22nd, we have 2 birthdays, one for Bilbo Baggins and one for Frodo Baggins.
Yeah, I would be like 1,200 years old or 1,500 years old.
Well, it was in the middle age, no, the late age of Middle Earth. Well, I can't remember when it was, but it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That's the way it was.
Wrong franchise.
I told you, it's chaos and mixed up metaphors here today, people.
Live long and prosper.
Maybe that ought to be the title of our show, Chaos and Mixed Up Metaphors.
Yeah.
That's the way it was on this day in history for September 17th, 2025. If you want to get your name on the birthday calendar, well, you go over to chuckchat.com/birthday, put your name on there. One of our latest patrons did that, and her birthday's coming up in about 6 weeks. So don't be shy. Subscribe today. No, sign up. chuckchat.com/birthday, regardless of what the banner doesn't say at the bottom of the screen, because Craig's asleep at the wheel again.
Got
I know. He
There's my
excused
banners.
himself at the beginning.
Oh.
Said he's not feeling top shape.
No, I did do a disclaimer. There we go.
So I said, "Ah, boy, that was like lifting lead weights." Thank you, band. You may be excused.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we go on to the news. Should we do crybabies? Let's do crybabies.
Good news, crybabies.
Well, we do have some good news. If you missed it, NASA thinks they may have found another possible sign of life on Mars this week, May
Wow.
10th, or last week. May
I'm ready
10th.
for them to roll up on a femur sticking up out of the dirt.
No, it's just a rock that looks like a femur.
Oh, okay.
Trick of the light. Well, they came across this rock that was mostly iron, but it had these little black spots in it. And they said, hey, you know what? That looks a lot like something that happens on Earth, or evidence of microbes way back when. Because there are some microbes that like to eat iron oxide, aka rust. And this particular rock was heavy with iron oxide. And they said, you've probably seen this even today. If you look at pictures of the Titanic, it has those rusticles, the icicles made out of rust. That's from microbes eating the steel rusting ship.
Okay.
And this is a similar thing. They're going, hey, I wonder if, and some of the other scientists went, whoa, hold on. We're not going to know until we get that, I can examine this up close, because there are other chemical processes that may produce a similar effect.
Okay.
These teeny tiny little leopard spots. So they scooped some up and they put it in the sample tube, because Perseverance has this
Spectrometer.
long-term. No, they're actually.
For picking up.
Yeah. Only the sad part is our space programs have been put on hold for a while due to administration and finance and blah, 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 blah.
There's like 50 canisters in a line behind the thing.
It's like garbage bags when you see people going down the highway cleaning it up.
Who sponsored this highway?
Perseverance just has this bunch of dog poop bags behind it. And don't forget to pick that up next time you're on Mars.
Interesting sample. There we go. We'll just set it down. There you
Yeah, there's actually a bag of dog poop on.
go.
Okay, no, there is a multi-stage process for getting stuff back. We just don't know when it will be, unfortunately. So hang tight. It may not be in my lifetime.
Hey, Mark Watney's got to go pick him up.
No. Let's go on to the next one. Orson Welles. You remember Orson Welles? He used to do the wine commercials. We shall serve no wine before it's time.
Yes.
Well, before he made his fame in commercials. I'm kidding.
In commercials.
He had this little film called Citizen Kane, which didn't do well at the box office, but it did get critical acclaim. And he made a sequel. I did not know he made a sequel to Citizen Kane called The Magnificent Ambersons, which almost sounds like a Disney superhero film, if you had me.
Yeah.
But he made, what was it, a 231-minute version of it? It was a very long version of the film. and the people said, "Edit that down, please." So he took out about 43 minutes or so,
Yes.
and that got lost in a fire.
Oh, yeah.
So they would like to rebuild that based on artificial intelligence. Now, I have fearful sights of here's the regular movie, and why does this guy suddenly have 6 fingers?
No, they wouldn't be like that.
Or the audio is the lines are being spoken and numbers aren't coming out right. You know, instead
Well,
of
it's kind of
saying,
like,
"We'll
um,
we'll work on this in 1938." No,
yeah,
the year is 1938.
yeah. Well, there was also similar but different. The Sphere in Las Vegas, they're playing the Wizard of Oz, and they used AI to enhance a few of the scenes where a character, like when you're normally watching it, a character walks onto the frame.
Mhm.
Well, at the Sphere, there's more frames, so they needed the character to come in sooner, and so you would see them start to come across
You
the
see
screen.
them running
Yeah.
and then they
Oof.
step into frame.
Yeah, they kind of fold over. Ooh, ooh. Which was to see even on just YouTube, it was amazing. So I was I want to go see that. I hope it's still playing next year, when we go to Vegas for work. But
Let's go now. Our wives are out of town.
yeah, yeah, but my dogs aren't.
Yeah, you get the neighbor to feed the dogs.
I'm the only one up here on the top of this mountain. So
We're not to the point where AI can fill in the gaps of this movie quite yet, but they're saying
nor
soon,
nor
very
can it
soon.
fill in my gaps and feed the dogs for me.
Well, AI could. The the other thing is, of course, Hollywood is saying, maybe just because we could do a thing doesn't mean we must do a thing. So we've got the people saying, remember those contracts we just had a few years ago about you're not going to generate our likeness out of artificial intelligence, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. How's that going to work with this movie? And is that a starting to set this precedent for other things coming up? So lots to think
Well,
about. This isn't
I
just,
think
hey, let's fill in some gaps for Orson
Orson
Welles. It's
Welles'
a cool movie.
family, didn't they say they weren't in favor of this?
I did not see that in the article.
Maybe I saw it in a different article, but that would, excuse me, that would put a little bit of a kibosh on it, I think, right off the
Mhm.
top. Now, if they were okay with it, I'd be down for some experimentation. I wouldn't mind seeing what was supposed to be there. And I guess they got a script because is it describe the 43
Yes.
minutes that's missing?
Yes.
Okay.
They know what shots were missing. There's a 4-minute single shot, like going through this. I think it's a dance hall or some sort of crowd setting, and
Mhm.
they're going from conversation to conversation. And out of that 4 minutes, everything was edited out except like the last 20 seconds or so. And like, really?
Yeah.
That could fill in a lot of context for the movie.
Sure.
They have
Yeah.
made 3D models and whatnot to set up the shots, so they kinda know what they need to rebuild and how to rebuild it. It's just
Right.
a matter of how well can we do it. In some cases, they're going to be doing, body doubles and then letting AI layer over that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we don't end up with a, you know, Tarkin-esque, you know, stiff-mouthed
Uh,
person.
why don't they honestly, I think there's a time and place for it. This is a obviously a historic film. Everybody's
Yeah.
pretty much passed away that was in it. I'm kind of down for the experimentation, kind of like the like it's mentioned in the Wizard of Oz for at the Sphere to maybe give you a different spin on the movie a little bit. But at the same time, you want to be respectful to the people that made the movie, and you don't want to
Right.
change their. Well, this wasn't really his vision. I guess he was asked to remove 43 minutes of it. So I don't know.
Well, and if that footage was still around today, we could edit it back together. But it's not, so we have to rely on what we can do. It's a bit like
If you does it,
when
yeah,
when you go into, like, some old Italian caverns or something, the plaster's falling off the wall. If you can't find the pieces on the floor, you gotta kinda interpolate what was there.
sure, yeah. I don't know. Again, I'm down with the experimentation of putting it together. I mean, the original movie's still sitting there, so Not really
Right.
taken away from
I
it.
don't know if it was ever officially released, but it's supposed to be a very good
Oh,
movie according to the reviews.
right. Oh, okay.
All right,
I
one
did like
more.
Citizen Kane. It was long. It was hard to slog through, but to be honest with you, but I liked it.
It was at a different pace than we're used to today. We'll get to our
Yeah.
movies and whatnot later.
Well, I tell you what else about Citizen Kane is the photography. Some of the
Oh,
shots
yeah.
you go, how did they pull that off in 1930 something?
Yep,
I don't.
yep.
It's amazing.
In 1900 in black and white.
Last century.
In other science news, we have news of an ant queen that can give birth to 2 different species of ants.
Hmm.
I thought this was fascinating. So I'm not going to read
Yeah.
the whole article to you, but I'll quickly summarize it up. There's Iberian harvester ants, and the queen can produce eggs that develop into 2 different ant species. At one point, these species used to live close together. And then as the colonies started getting further and further apart, she developed a way to take the sperm from the male ant that used to fertilize her eggs and clone it so that she can produce more offspring. Somehow she's able to separate the DNA in the ovum, like say, take out my DNA and use only the cloned sperm DNA to make this. What was the name of the other ant? I thought it started with an S. Hold on, I'm scanning fast. Not the Iberian harvester. What's the other one called?
I can't remember.
The Messor structor. Okay. One is hairy,
Oh.
one is not. So when they come out, you can clearly tell which one is which. And they both have a role in the colony, but she can create the ones they need kind of on demand, which is unique
Okay.
in the animal world.
Speaking of 3D printers, I need a regular. I need a.
It's fascinating how you could say, turn off my DNA in this egg so that now, obviously, when you clone, there are things that creep into the cloning process. And the article ends up saying, yeah, cloning has other issues. Like every species that has done cloning in the past becomes extinct.
Hey,
Because it only takes one little thing to wipe them all out.
when you said in the cloning process, one little thing get in there, I kept thinking of brindlefly.
Yeah, no, not that.
Well, that's what he was doing, sort of.
Yeah, this is ants, not flies. Stick with
Right.
me.
No, I know.
Okay, let's
The
hop
fly got in
over.
the chamber and he was screwed. So,
Let's change channels and see what's on the Hacks and Strange Story channel. Ready?
yeah. Where's my remote?
Click. There we go. So this comes from a YouTube channel that I like to watch from Dave Plummer. Dave Plummer is a former Microsoft engineer who came up with such things as Task Manager, native zip file support, and Media Center,
Mhm.
among other things. And he also took the code for the Space Cadet 3D pinball, which I believe was originally written for, was it a MIPS R4000, and put it
Yeah.
onto NT4. Says, yay, we have pinball.
I did like that pinball game. It was kind of fun.
And at the time, it was running on a 200 megahertz machine and rendered about 60 to 90 frames per second. Well, fast forward a couple of years when we have multi-core machines that are running much, much faster,
Yeah.
and pinball is running on a single core at 5,000 frames per second.
What?
It's like the whole thing because it just says, I'm going to render as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Now, the game still played properly. It's not like the ball was going.
But the lights dimmed in your office, at 5,000 frames a second.
They said, yeah, they recognized it as a bug, but back then you didn't really report bugs because they'd have to go into a service pack. And if you ended up in a service pack, it was a shameful affair. Like
Mhm.
Microsoft didn't readily admit, oh, we made a mistake. We're using your whole core. on
Yeah,
this
there was
game."
lots of crap like that. It shouldn't have been shameful.
So along comes, what was his name? Chen. Let's see if I can find it real fast. There he is.
Raymond Chen.
Raymond Chen.
Mhm.
who, among other things, said, "You know what? This was my proudest moment in Windows development." He says, "I fixed pinball so you could kick off a build and play pinball at the same time." So he fixed it so that maxes out at 100 frames per second and obviously frees up some CPU on that core.
Right. Yeah.
5,000. I think that's got to be the highest frame rate I've heard for anything.
Yeah.
You could use a high speed your monitor isn't even refreshing that fast. What's the point?
You know, it reminds me of when PCs had the turbo button. You could turn it off for playing slower games.
It's a turbo button. You could go from 4 to 6
Yeah.
megahertz.
It's like not Leisure Suit Larry, but something like that. It'd be too fast, and you had to turn the turbo off to make it work right.
That's because they were counting clock cycles and not
Yes.
counting them properly. This
Right.
wasn't the problem with pinball. It
No,
wasn't
I know.
playing too fast.
It just reminded me of that at first. Thinking older games were running on faster hardware by accident.
I subscribed to Dave's Garage, but this was in his other channel, Dave's Attic, that he was talking about this. So I didn't see that one.
Oh, Dave's Garage. All right, I'll go check that one out.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff in there. The other one that I found is interesting is You Suck at Programming.
Are you talking to me specifically? Or
No, that's the name of the channel.
Oh,
I found
oh.
another channel this week called Aren't We There Yet? It's about this couple that's going from the Arctic Ocean down to Argentina, something like that.
Oh,
They're traveling the Americas. I want to know how they're going to get past the that impassable point where Central America connects to South America, that you can't
Oh.
build a road, the dense
Right.
jungle that is out to kill you.
right.
They might have to take a boat around it to get down to Colombia or something, but they haven't got that far. They're still in Alaska. They're on season 2. Well produced, by the way. Aren't we there yet? And what was the other one?
We'll get there. We'll get to the media corner.
The guy from You Suck at Programming is really wicked smart. I think I sent
Really?
you the one about using bin bash in your shell scripts. Did I send you that one?
I don't recall it.
Fascinating stuff. Where you do the shebang,
Yeah.
hashtag exclamation point, and then you say bin bash. He said, yeah, that assumes everybody's got bin bash, but what if you don't? Like, good point. Did you
Yeah.
know you could put other things in there like shebang, user bin head? Like,
Oh yeah.
really?
Now, yes, you can, because I've done that with PHP. I've written command line PHP scripts,
Yep.
and if you put the shebang with, you know, bin PHP or whatever it is, and it will execute it without
Yes.
even having to call
I've
it
done,
a
yes,
PHP
user
script.
bin Perl, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
The interesting
Perl.
thing
Yeah, that's
is
another good example.
the hashtag is a comment in shell scripting, but it's not in, say, Node.js.
Right.
But somehow Node.js knows to A, run Node, and B, strip that line out so it's not interpreted as malformed code. Like, whoa, okay, that's interesting too.
Yeah.
So he went down a whole rabbit trail for about 25 minutes. There was, what was the other one he was talking about? I can't remember, but just fascinating stuff on there. Oh, somebody said if you want to delete an entire directory, use rsync to copy an empty directory with the -delete option to the target. What? Okay.
Huh? Okay.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Just little obscure things. I've been doing Unix for 40 years and I'm still learning cool tricks like this.
Oh,
This is
you
fun.
kidding me? I mean, I'm coming up on 30 years of Linux, but
Mhm.
I'm still just like you. It's like, oh, that's cool. Or, I didn't know I could do that with this command.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever use any of this, but it's fun stuff to just stick in the
I'll give you
tool
one
bag.
that's a simple, but it's very helpful. So I go into one directory, right? And then looking at a file or something. Then I come out. I need to go back to the directory I was in previously.
Yeah.
So CD space dash will take you to that
Yeah.
previous directory. I
When you did, okay, I won't chide you because there's still things that I learned that people go, really? How did you not learn
no,
that?
I'm not
I've
saying I
been-
didn't know that today. I'm just saying that that's something I use and I learned. I didn't realize, that it was a thing a while back.
Yep. It's just a quick way to get back to the directory you were in prior to the last CD
Yeah.
command.
It's pretty cool.
And I go a little nuts when I'm down deep in the folders and I do .. // something else. Like,
I did that
yeah,
all the time
I'm good
too.
at navigating relative paths.
Hey, I was on a call with a couple of people trying to troubleshoot a problem, and I it was my own idiosyncrasy, but I hit .. because I was talking about this directory slash, and I was looking for SSH key. So / keys / and then the key name.
Yep.
And they were like, what's the / for? I was like,
Means run it right here.
oh, yeah. I was like, they asked me that. Okay.
Because dot shouldn't be in your path, noob.
Yeah. I have seen people put that in their path.
I used to once upon a time till I found out how dang dangerous that is.
Yeah.
All right. We normally give a shout out to the chat room right now, but there's nobody in the chat room right now.
Except for
No, we had one comment. They're not there. Look at how many live viewers
the
we have
dude
right
from
now.
Germany.
We have 0 live viewers right now.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to be on that list and get a shout out in the chat room, join us on Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern. That's US Eastern on Facebook or YouTube. And we will give you a shout out. I'm assuming you put something in the comments. If we just see like 3 viewers and nobody's commenting, we don't know who to shout out. We'll just go, hey, live viewers, you there, we see you at home. If you're watching later, appreciate it very much. And if you're listening to the live podcast, no, you can't listen to the live podcast later. You listen
Yeah, you can.
Wednesday. We're not live though.
No.
At least you're watching right now. We're not live.
Our live podcast.
I hope we're still alive.
We're scheduling our live our release.
Something like that. I think that live stream thing this morning messed me up a little too much. Let's jump into Remember When. Yeah, because we have the noisy home computer from 1967. That's right. There's a video of this guy who it's one of these. Was it British? Yeah, it was a British video.
BBC.
Where the guy is laying in bed and he wakes up and it's the narrator says something, and Mr. Smith can check his stock prices. And he's got this hard copy noisy terminal in his room. It's connected to a central brain. Whose brain, I don't know.
Which looks like an oversized typewriter.
The guy is the worst typist in the world. He's got 2 hands and he's typing with one. Going like and it's going like a big electric typewriter, really noisy. And when he hits enter, then it spits out the results. Like, here's all the stock price. Here's the high. Here's the. And I can just imagine if he gets a message in the middle of the night.
Hey,
that'll wake you up.
He does. He submits a Google search in like 2 hours. It comes back, so he wakes him up.
Now I did a little math. It said he's training his 4-year-old son, and this is from 1967. Right. So this kid is probably about 62 right now. I want to know what kind of computer he has. I got Dad's old terminal.
Yeah.
Never got any sleep as a kid.
Mom and Dad didn't believe in social media, so they let me use the old computer.
Twice. He's standing up and he's just typing with one hand, going, who does that? Now, granted, this isn't the kind of keyboard where you're going to speed type anyway, because if you make a mistake, I don't even know if it has a backspace on it because it punched that thing. Fun old video to watch. The paper comes out from a roll, almost like an old fax machine.
It was like the Addams Family, you know, where
oh no, that was a ticker tape.
It was ticker tape, but
yeah, the Bell glass jar.
Yeah, it's standing. He pulls it off. Oh, look!
Consolidated Lint is up.
Belly button lint is up.
He had Consolidated Lint and Amalgamated Dust. Was the other one? I think those were the 2 that I remember from the Addams Family stuff.
Oh, I don't recall that.
Oh man, I bet Crazy Joe remembers. He could probably correct us on both of those.
You know, when I think I know a lot of pop culture. Here comes Joe.
Yeah. And when you think you know a lot of Star Trek, here comes Clinton.
Yeah.
There was a link in the article to the kitchen home computer, the home kitchen computer, that red thing that we saw that looked like it was out of the Jetsons in the Computer History Museum.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? And they had a picture of Jane Jetson, with this thing, and then in the video they went to the Computer History Museum and asked about this. Like, it's now in a glass box. I don't remember a glass box.
No, we were
we
not
weren't
supposed
allowed
to
to
touch it.
touch it.
Yeah.
Craig, who
I
touches
hate-
the world's first Google server and then gets yelled at.
Yeah, start licking it and no. Yeah, that computer, I remember that thing well because it looks like a computer built into like a tabletop almost
Right, a
that juts
cutting
out.
board on the front.
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay, quick thank you to our patrons as we march down the road. Yeah, that'd be good marching music, Imperial March music.
Yes.
Thank you to Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brad Miller, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dandy Mancoyer, Dean Jensen. Thank you, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, Jason Pollard, John Clifford, John Noble, Yorga Schrauen, Crazy Joe. Notice these are alphabetic now. Kyle Nishioka, Leon, M.
From James Bond.
Mark Kilfoyle, Mike Wilt, or is M from Men in Black?
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe.
Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Theory, Steve Webb, Steve London, Sylvain Rissicott. Please help me pronounce that because your birthday is coming up soon. And Tim Cook. Now,
Right.
here's the deal, people. There were 4 of you that have t-shirts. Actually, 5. One went out before we went to Dragon Con because it came from a separate vendor. And the other 4 are going out tomorrow as we record this. So hopefully by the time you hear this, you will have received your t-shirts for our 20th anniversary. We are very thankful for all of you that are
Yes.
patrons because this wouldn't happen. There has been a slight mix-up. You probably haven't seen billing from us because Patreon changed their UI and Craig didn't know where the magic button is to charge for
I
shows.
swear I've been hitting the button, but I guess
So since late July, we haven't made a single penny on this podcast. But
Right.
that's okay. We had a little extra in the
Hey.
bank. We can cover it for now.
so that's all going to change this week in one fell swoop. No, I'm just
Our
kidding.
fault.
Just kidding.
No, we're not going to come back at you for back payments.
Yeah. We're going to say, don't notice this. Hey, we noticed that you didn't pay for July.
I told Craig, when you flip the switch, take a screenshot so we say, look, we're saying charge for this article, episode. What do they call them? Whatever it says in there, this item.
Yeah.
And that way,
Post-
if we don't get
post.
any money in October, we can go back to Patreon and go, we flipped the switch. This is on you.
I'm telling you, I remember going to click it and they changed the interface. I went,
Watch for a save button too. I got hooked by that a couple of times from something at work. I'm doing the attendance for the class and you go,
yeah.
check, 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 check. All these students pass. And then I come back later and it says in progress. I mean, oh, there's a super little floppy disk icon up there that I missed.
Floppy disk. Speaking of floppies,
Yep. That's still the universal save icon.
which people have barely used in the last
20 years.
20, 25 years.
All right. Let's thank you once again, patrons. If you want to become part of this group, get a shout out, get a postcard, get a t-shirt, perhaps. Patreon.com/Technorama podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Got a couple more people. Sylvain and
Mm.
that's tasty.
Yeah.
We're just
Mm-mm.
we have this, we now have like personas for these people we have never met. There's Tim Cook, which everybody believes works at Apple.
I do not.
There's John Noble, our John Noble, that John Noble. And
Hey,
now
by
we
the
have-
way, I'll give Tim Cook and his wife Rebecca a shout out because they just had their 23rd anniversary.
hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Got anything planned for the 25th? Are we invited?
We invited. Yeah. Call us.
We'll do our best to show up.
Yeah.
All right. It's now time where Craig and I go on about things that we watched, seen, read, listened in the media. We call this Pass Me the Remote.
Yay.
Why don't you get started?
All right. So first up on the list is AKA Charlie Sheen, which is
What did you
just-
think of this? I saw it come up on the list and I just can't bring myself to watch it.
Why? I was
I don't know. The little leader that they show, the trailer,
Uh-huh.
just doesn't look that interesting.
Well, it gives a lot of actually, it fills in a lot of blanks. So,
Okay.
remember he had his famous meltdown in the early 2000s, that lasted
Winning.
winning, all that stuff. It was interesting to watch. It wasn't censored or anything. He said, he didn't put anything that was off limits to talk about.
Okay.
They talked to Denise Richards and his other ex-wife. He had like 3 ex-wives. Talked about their children, talked about his addictions and how they crop up, and they had John Cryer on there. He was talking about how it was impacting it ended up impacting the show.
Okay.
On and on and on. It was a lot of good stuff. What I liked, there was another documentary. I can't remember what it was, but somebody like Charlie Sheen, where they had a lot of famous celebrities that were friends of theirs from childhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you see a lot of these films. They were using an 8 millimeter camera and making films when they were kids, and they were. It was
There's
funny
little
to see.
6-year-old Emilio Estevez running
Yeah,
around.
Emilio's there, Charlie's there, Sean Penn's there,
His dad,
Chris Penn was there, and it's like it can almost not recognize them because they're so young. But it
Sure.
was anyway. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good, and
Okay.
uh, especially all the kind of behind the scenes for all that stuff that was very visible in the last time he had this big, dust up was interesting to hear about. And he stated that he's been 8 years sober now. So
Oh, good.
yeah.
Good. What else you got? Let's just go
Well,
down the list.
okay, so I know you and I watched The Breakfast Club when we were at Dragon Con, but
Yes.
Fred and I were here the other night and was like, hey, let's watch an 80s movie. So we ended up, he mentioned The Breakfast Club. I was like, fine with me. So it was on Peacock. So we watched that. Not much to tell you about that.
Did they dub the bad words out again?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. We were watching on network TV and, they were always saying, oh, that flipping so and so. Yeah. Just say the words. But
Or damn
no,
you.
they were not censored.
Okay, good.
The other thing, I think I sent this to you, but you subscribe to Network Chuck on YouTube, I believe.
I do. I don't get the notification, so a lot of stuff goes right by me.
I I don't use notifications either. I just go to the subscriptions page and scan it. But anyway, I subscribe to his network channel. They went to Equinix. I think it's in Texas. One of their hubs is in Texas, and Equinix is a data center, and not just any data center. It's like a major hub data center where AWS, Google, Microsoft, you name it, they're there somewhere. And they did a tour. So they had a tour of the whole place, and you can see the cages as they're going through. They could, I think a lot of them they couldn't really identify who the vendor was or the customer
Just
in the cage.
turn it off. You'll find out.
Yeah, turn it off. They were trying not to do that, but he made up made interesting observation that a lot of these companies they'll do cable runs from one customer to another. So if you're a customer of AWS and you got a data center there, they can literally run a cable there instead of going through the entire internet to access their services.
That has to be a noisy room.
I don't know. It should be, you'd think, but they were walking around talking and stuff. So
Hmm.
anyway, it's worth looking at because there's a lot. It's like almost like a second internet between those big vendors, customers. I keep saying vendors, customers and their customers. So you could have a data center, like I said, you run a cable there, and then you got immediate access without having to go access it, through. Anyway, it's really cool. Network Chuck does a great job narrating it, and it looks like they had a lot of fun while they were there. So I would recommend that.
Very cool.
And I watched, actually, my friend Fred and I, watched this is Spinal Tap the other day,
The original.
the original, and there's a lot of funny stuff. I forgot I hadn't seen it in a while, and it's always fun to watch that. And then that afternoon we went to go see Spinal Tap 2: The End Continues.
Wait,
I-
you have Spinal Tap Pie on here.
Do you not remember in Spinal Tap the pie? It was a Stonehenge.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't really trying to put pi in there. I was trying to put the 2.
That'd be an interesting version number, 3.1.4. He's like, what?
Well,
The title just goes on.
yeah. Well, remember in the first one, they mismeasured it and it was so tiny when it came down on the stage.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. So
But
what'd you think of the theater one?
this one, the second one was actually really funny. There was a lot of funny stuff in there. And Fred and I were cackling. The people in front of us were cackling. There wasn't many people in the theater, unfortunately, but it was a lot of fun. Elton John was in there, Paul McCartney, and others. But there was a lot of puns and you know misspoken things that are hilarious to hear. So if you like the first one, it continues.
Are they the same actors older or is it different?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
absolutely.
Okay, good.
Even Rob Reiner, he's because he was the filmmaker that was doing the documentary in the first one, and he's also the one in the second one. So yeah, and I think most everybody that was in the movie is it was in the original. Sorry, I'm losing my voice here. Anyway,
It's okay, you're done.
if you enjoyed the first one, go check it out. You'll like it.
All right, my list. I rewatched The Mask from 1994 with Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Tubi. So lots of commercials kind of disrupted the flow of the movie, but
Did it hold up?
still pretty darn funny. Yeah. I think it holds up pretty well.
All right.
The also watched Shazam, the one with Zach Levi.
Yes, I love that
I
one.
think it's in your collection. I watched it on YouTube somehow. I don't think it was on the free version because it didn't have
Right.
the
I bought it.
commercials. I'm pretty sure I watched that several years ago, but it was a good rewatch.
It's fun. It's a fun superhero movie. Yeah.
Also watched a series of 4-part episode, I believe it was, on Netflix called Madoff, the Monster of Wall Street. This is about Bernie Madoff, and it goes beyond just here's how he made billions of dollars and screwed people out of money and then got caught. If it weren't for the 2008 economic crisis, he probably would not have been caught. He literally
Oh.
got people calling him going, hey, there's an economic crisis. I want my money back.
Yeah.
And he didn't have their money because, just anyway, it goes.
Unforeseen
lot in-
circumstances screwed him over.
There's a lot to unpack in there. Very sad story towards the end too, with the loss of both his sons. He finally died in, what was it, 2019 or 2020? Somewhere in
Yeah.
the last 5 years or so, he passed away at the age of 82.
Right.
So he wasn't that old, but well, that much older than us.
Right.
Interesting story. I found it interesting. Had a conversation with my dad about it. Said, you might enjoy this, Dad. Everybody knows the news headline stories, but you do know the story behind the story, which brings up another one that I watched called Katrina, Come Hell or High Water on Netflix.
Right.
Normally, I don't go into these disaster movies like this, but this one, for some reason, I did. This was 3 parts, I believe. Maybe it was 4. I don't remember, but they talked about here comes the hurricane, and everybody's like, well, we've had hurricanes before. A lot of people are going to stick it through, and it was everything from what FEMA did to what did the governor do to the governor doesn't like the mayor, and the mayor doesn't. It was just a bunch of things that could have gone better, and nobody really willing to take blame. And a lot of lives lost. So some sad stories. Many people left. They lost like 25% of their population,
Mhm.
about almost 50% for the evacuation, and then some came back, but many did not. So they said, "Hey,
Well-
we now call Houston New Orleans West, and we call Atlanta New Orleans East because so
Wow.
many people went to those cities and established their lives. Because if you're a dentist and your town is wiped out, you don't go back." And there was the last episode was somewhat. It was done by Spike Lee, and it was somewhat of an op-ed piece talking about systemic racism, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it felt like it went on a little too long.
Right.
I'm all for giving people their stage. It did talk about Brad Pitt and how he came in after the hurricane and set up this what was it called? Not Do the Right Thing, but it was
Yeah.
it was a housing project. He funded a lot of people to get houses, but these houses were completely low quality. One guy
Oh
said,
yeah.
I fell through the floor in my bathroom, because the
Yeah.
floor rotted out. And this other guy says, I have to get the foundation redone for 50 grand.
Yeah.
So they're like, hooray, I got a house and it was
Yeah.
economically feasible, but now I got to put a whole bunch of money into it to make it livable.
Yeah.
Well, that was pretty sad. Uh,
Hey,
watch the movie. Yeah, go ahead.
by the way, speaking of Katrina, remember we interviewed that guy, Michael Barnett from the Intercosmosis Media Group, about him keeping the lights on, so to speak, at his
Oh, right.
yeah, in his data center.
I almost forgot about that one. Yep,
Yeah, he
yep.
was having to move barrels of fuel around for the generators.
Watched a Julia Roberts movie called Leave the World Behind. I think it was made a couple of years ago. About hackers who take out the power grid and the phone system and everything. Is this family that's on vacation just outside New York somewhere. I think they might be on Long Island. And won't ruin the story, but it has a very, I'll call it abrupt ending, not really closure on this thing. But it's very interesting. Of course, Kevin Bacon is a survivalist who lives just down the road, and and, and it fun story. I mean, not fun from the standpoint I wouldn't want to be in it, but interesting storyline. Kind of gives you an insight as to what could happen if certain countries ganged up on us today.
Yeah,
A little bit of an eye opener.
I think I remember watching this myself.
Uh, watched a series on Disney Plus, actually Nat Geo, called Genghis Khan: A Secret History. And yes, I will say Chenghis as in CH, because if you say Genghis, I know it almost sounds like the whole discussion about GIF versus GIF images, but they're saying that the Mongolian way to pronounce it was Chenghis. And somewhere in the Persian translation years later, it became Genghis. But hey, you say it your way, I'll say it my way. I try to observe local customs wherever possible. It's based on a book. Now, everybody remembers Genghis Khan as this ruthless conqueror that went across and just wiped out other people's civilizations. But it was more than that. It got into his family. It got into how he was politically savvy and how he got to be who he is and why he did what he did. And then the succession of, okay, well, once he died, he's got 4 sons. Who does he name as his successor and how does that go? Fascinating from the standpoint that I just finished watching the Marco Polo series on Netflix.
Mhm.
And a lot of what they said, now this is his grandson, Kublai, that's in the Marco Polo story, but he was mentioning a lot of things about his father and his grandfather Cengiz and the religious stuff. Like we pray to Tengri, and like, yep, they mentioned Tengri. They had the Kurultai, which is sort of this coming together of all the tribes to almost like their Congress, where they would discuss the laws, the strategies of the future, blah blah blah. All the local leaders would get together. I mean, local as far as most of Eastern Asia. And they're like, yep, they had the Kurultai mentioned in there. So a lot of fun stuff from, hey, I heard about that. I know what that is.
Right.
And getting it from this, they call it The Secret History because it's a book that was written in Mongolian and discovered and deciphered years later. All this stuff took place late 1100s, early 1200s in his lifetime. So I found that fascinating. Again, I'm getting old. I like history more and more every day because I've lived most of it now. Final one that I just finished watching
before your history.
Yeah. The one that I just finished watching before I came here is called Infinite. Story about these people that remember their previous lives so they can continue learning and growing. And obviously you have to be born. And then they say, well, as you're in your childhood, you kind of have vague memories. But as you go through puberty, then you have total recall of your previous life. And that was all cool until one guy said, I don't want to do this anymore. I really want to die. I mean, you could shoot me in the head, but I'm just going to come back to life again and again. I'm done. So it comes up with this weapon that's supposed to destroy everything. It like rips DNA apart. It's going to destroy everything on Earth because if there's nothing living, there's nothing to reincarnate into. So it becomes this battle about one of these, I don't want to call them Eternals, but the one of these guys that he comes back, but he can't remember. Somehow his memory's blocked. And it's almost like that Shazam thing. Like, you have all these powers. I do. Well, if you say so, the unfortunate hero Some of it was a little predictable, but it is an action movie, so there's lots of car chases, lots of gunshots, lots of explosions, and interesting storyline. So Infinite came out a few years ago. I watched it on YouTube. Again, this may be in your collection, or maybe I got a free one. I don't remember. I was just browsing movies and went, well, never saw that before. Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
So that's my collection. Wow, did that all in under 10 minutes.
Look at you. Look at you.
That was 7 things. Lots of series, lots of movies, some rewatches, some new stuff. Enjoyed it very much. We'd love to hear what you're up to. Any recommendations that you have, dear listener, dear viewer, of what's going on? Send us an email, technorama@chuckchat.com. We'd love to hear from you. Or send us a voicemail, 707-530-2428. Give us just a title. Hey, I just watched this. I loved it. Or you can do a 2 or 3 minute review if you want. We'd love to hear from you. It's been a while. So we are at the end of the show, concluding with our question of the week for you for next time. What's the most useless robot you can imagine? And what does it sounds really familiar what we just asked a few weeks ago.
Oh, is it? Did I paste the same one in?
We had something about robots and making them useless, but useless robot you can imagine. And what
It was taking over your job.
I thought it was
It
something.
was one that if a robot
it was
did your
one about-
job, what
or
would it get
kitchen.
wrong?
Maybe it was one about kitchen
No,
appliances.
it was literally one. If there was a robot took over your job, what
That
would
was
it get
no, it was
wrong?
before that one.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go with this one again. See what we get this time around. What's the most useless robot you can imagine, and what does or doesn't it do? Is our question, and we'll try to come up with some more originality besides robots and AIs next time. But we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call again. Oh, wrong intro. Stop. Ending. There we go. Now I got to bring up the right soundboard. There. Woo! 707-530-2428 is our listener line. We'd love to hear from you. Still wide open. I test it once a month just so Google doesn't yank it away on us.
Yeah.
Same thing with our topic is Trek. That's
One
our
of
other
you, one of you
podcast.
should be doing that. One of them should be doing that.
Right. If we had somebody who would call in at least once a month, that would be wonderful. You could do us a favor.
Right.
We don't mention this often, but Craig and I do another podcast with Clinton Elvord called The Topic is Trek. So if you're a Star Trek fan, I invite you to check that out. The Topic is Trek over at thetopicistrek.com. You can also leave us an email, as I mentioned already, technorama@chuckchat.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to read your email, and it might even make it on the show. Until next time, give us a binary high five, Craig.
All right. 101.
Bye, everybody. Audio recording has been stopped.
All right.
We are going to stop the video recording in just a moment and go on to record our Patreon show and maybe make $1 or $2.
Hey, maybe. Let's hope.
Let's hope. We'll find out. At least now I know where to check to make sure that it was like included in the list. Until then, everybody who's been watching, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're doing that kind of thing. We greatly appreciate it. And we will talk to you again in about a week. Till then, take care. Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.